Welcome back to another episode of The Locker Room, where I'm joined by these legends of Coventry rugby. I've actually been out in the field playing some line-outs. Doing some line-outs. I did a drop goal. These are about 3 sizes too big, but I did get around, learned how to spin the thing. The ball, I don't even know why I said the thing. I'm a little bit dishevelled, if I'm honest with you. It's freezing out there. And I actually got lifted really high in the air. Like really high. These boys are very, very strong. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about hair loss, confidence and well-being. And who better to do that with than Matt, James and Jordan. Boys, thank you so much for being back here. Thank you for throwing me around on the pitch just then. I wanted to keep, the producers were like, do you want to take your shoes off? And I was like, no, I want to keep them on, actually, just the badge of honour. So I'm going to have my leg up here so you can all see as well. Brendan's as well, lovely. Let's talk hair loss. I think we should. I think it's important that we talk hair loss. I'm sorry, Matt, I've just looked at you instantly. I feel like it's because you looked at me first. I feel like you went like that and looked at me. But let's talk about it, because, you know, there is a massive stigma about hair loss, and, you know, about like, oh, you know, it makes you look a certain way, or makes you look a little bit less good and stuff like that. First of all, not going to name names, one of the producers says she fancied Matt. Because she said he looks so good. She absolutely loves a hairless man. I won't say which one it was. And I've got to say, you rock it so well. You sit there and you were just like, mate, do you know what? It was time for it to come off. What did it take to be like, do you know what? Shaving the whole thing.
A lot of peer pressure. For rugby environments where I used to get hammered a lot for it.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I wasn't always blessed with a strong hairline.
Yeah.
Even from like 20, 21, there's some pictures where I had quite long hair as well. And even then, when it got wet, it just didn't look great. Moved around to a couple of clubs, and there was one club where I basically got to a point where if my haircut was, if I got a good haircut, I could just about get away with it. If I got a bad haircut, it just looked hideous.
Really?
So yeah, I basically dragged it out, got married, locked in my wife, which was important.
The contract was signed.
Exactly. Got the wedding photos, which are, you know, look. I mean, average for me, but good for her.
Yeah.
And then once that happened, I just bit the bullet and thought now's the time. And it's one of those things where you probably build it up in your head like it's such a big thing. And for about half a day, lads took the mick, and then after that, it was just like, it's weird if you had long hair. It's like people look at me now if I have hair, because obviously I can grow my hair back if I want to, like, you know.
But you wouldn't know. I can't imagine you. Obviously, I've only just met you today, but I can't imagine you with a head of hair, man. I
had a big blonde mop.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. People don't believe me, but yeah, no, I wouldn't do it now. It's just easier than it is what it is. I'm not too precious. I don't know what's the saying. I don't know if I can say this, but what's the saying? You can't polish a turd, but you
can't polish a turd, you can't color and glitter. Yeah, exactly.
I epitomise that. So I think, we'll go with that. I don't know if you want to cut that out.
No, that's really nice. That's a lovely saying, mate. It is.
Yeah, thanks.
But dude, I love how just like open you are with it and stuff. Because a lot of guys aren't, man. A lot of guys are, they're like, I don't want to lose my hair. I don't want to be like that. And you just went, no, I am. It is what it is. And also, you've got a lovely skull for it. I know that sounds weird. Lovely shaped head. And the reason I ask you about that, by the way, mate, is because recently I got burnt on my skull, and the reason I did was because I'm thinning up top, so I'm thinning right here.
We'd call that a biscuit.
Right? I call it friar tuck.
Friar tuck.
Friar tuck, yeah. I call it. It's a monk.
Yeah.
A monk, basically. Well, I'm growing a monk. Yeah. Or then. And I got it for the first time. I got burnt up there, and that's not a good sign. And I was like, oh, that's never happened before. So I was thinking I'm gonna probably at some point go and get a little bit of a plucked out there and put it in there. But I don't know like what I do, where I do it. I'm gonna go with my mate Pete. We're gonna go together. We're gonna film it as well, which would be quite fun. But that got me thinking, I'm personally not really embarrassed about it, but I know it's like there is a stigma around it, isn't there, lads? And I wanted to ask you guys, like, would you you know, you've got a nice head of hair, James, but would you consider, I'm trying to be nice,
Once the wind comes in, that's it. Blowing off the
would
top.
you ever consider a hair transplant, or would you just shave it off?
I think I'd probably go down Matt's route and
Go the hair
shave
shave.
it. I'd probably like back the bald.
Back the balls.
Back the bald.
Yeah,
Start that hashtag.
Yeah, go on,
We'll
man,
get
you're
the
bringing
hashtag
it in.
going, Back the bald.
Jordan, what about you? You got a good head of hair, but
Yeah, I'm alright for now. My dad's bald, so I'll probably end up going down that route at some point. And I had short hair for a period of time, actually a few years ago. Like I used to literally just get some like a skin fade and a 2 on top. So I've already sort of been down that short hair. But I think when you get to the point of where you don't have control over it, where you say when you start thinning or you're losing it, I mean you just gotta accept it. Like
control's a good word that you just used there, isn't it? It's about the fact there's nothing you can do.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
you're like, that sucks. Like, what? I want to be able to control the fact that I like keep my hair or lose my hair and stuff. And that's probably why people feel a bit desperate at times, don't they? Because it's like, I want to be able to I can't do anything about it.
Well, that's to say, you just got to accept it. You just, like, if you're going bald and you're going bald, just kind of say, once you maybe get down to that route of, let's say, braving the shave, or if you do want to kick...
Brave the shave, love that.
Keep it going for as long as possible. Like, you get the sort of the jokes that people will say for you, or maybe, like, your partner or someone might even start making the odd comment, being like, oh, when you had hair or whatever, or like, oh, maybe you need to shave, and then that starts playing that role in the head. But just say if you want to brave the shame and go down the road, just do it, accept it, because the faster you do it, the faster you get over it. And then if you're lucky enough to financially be able to, you know, get a transplant or so. I mean, there's a few rugby players in the past who've done 2, not worked, 3 transplants. If you've got the money to do it, go do it again. Just own it. Just take it, run with it.
Yeah, it's weird though, isn't it? Because it is a confidence thing. I always say this. I'm fighting for the guys here. There's, you know, a lot of girls and women do say, you know, they're like, oh, I want a guy with like thick, long hair. You know, and you're sitting there going, what if I said that about you? You know what I mean? What if I went, oh, I want that, and that? And you do sit there and you go, it's a bit harsh. You know what I mean? Where you sit there and go, well, I want that. There's nothing, you can't control it. Do you know what I mean? You can't sit there and be like, well, okay, I'll just do that for you. I can't do anything about that. And it is a bit tough. And, you know, I think there's a stigma about a hair transplant as well, because what they're essentially you're doing is you're plucking some of your own hair from there and putting it there. You're moving it 10 centimetres into a different spot. Why is there a stigma about a guy having a bit of cosmetic surgery when it's so out there for everyone else?
I don't know. I think
Good question.
it is. That's deep
Love
as well.
that,
Yeah.
It's true though, isn't it?
It is. And the thing is like I know people that have had it done, and we give them stick about it, but we don't really, like, personally, I don't have any issues. I think if that's the route you want to go down, then great. I was probably a little bit too far gone for that. I needed like more than just a couple hairs plucked out, you know.
You're plucking out your arms.
Exactly, and that's it. So, it was something I was never really interested in. But if people wanted to do it, then fine. But I know, like, obviously, in like the rugby environment and the lad environment, it's a little bit of a like, oh, you did that. Like, it's almost like it's an easy way to poke fun at, you know. Like, we use like hairband quite a bit. Like, obviously, we're taking the mick out of Jimmy with his lid, and then we've got other lads in the team who are struggling, and let's put it that way, you know, hanging on to it a few times. For some reason, in
that
rugby,
wind blows.
yeah, exactly, or gets wet, it looks like pine cones, and for whatever reason in the rugby environment or sport environment, it just seems like that's like an easy little, like a little take the mick out or take the piss out of him for his hair and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think that anyone in the rugby environment, I don't think anyone really cares that people get it done. It's just more of a. It's almost just another way to just
have a bit of banter.
Yeah, have a bit of banter.
But why do we reckon there is a stigma against something that's just so small compared to what loads of other people are doing? Why do we reckon that is? Like, what is it? Because it's actually just such a small procedure. Like, why is it that guys find it so, like, confidence debilitating? But then, like, let's say girls just go and do it. Like, why don't we big each other up and we go, hey man, go and get a hair transplant. Go on.
Yeah,
You pluck it out and put it somewhere else.
I mean, just that thing we touched on earlier, that masculinity thing, and just own it. I could say lads are very, like, want to be alpha males. They always kind of want to take the mick out of each other and get one up on
No
everything.
weakness.
Yeah, like, just you always want to one up someone, or maybe look as if you're the centre of attention. That men specifically, but I mean, this obviously that men as a touch upon in hair. That's probably the other point where men really groom. I mean, obviously there's the facial hair or body hair, but the head on the hair is the first thing you see on a man, really, on that set of hair. But like with women, if you've got like women, obviously women, they sort of look after it. They have all the nails. They've got all that aspect, which then, like, you know, if you go down the aspects of women, they like compare each other on the nails or their makeup,
eyelashes.
Well, yeah, you know, length of eyelashes, colour of lipstick.
Gotta say, you have lovely eyelashes. I know it sounds weird, but you got lovely lashes. I was just looking at mine, and so did you actually. You got.
I've got no fault.
But like,
I can't see. I'm too far away.
Men's grooming, like I put my eyebrows, like I look after that side of it. Like not many people, maybe not many men do that, but like there's loads of lads, like even if it's facial hair, beard hair. So like Jim grows a pretty decent beard, like he's able to trim that. I can't grow, but you can grow a beard. Like there's certain aspects of sort of men's grooming that actually. It might not be actual head hair, but I think it's just that one thing. Because I always think, like, if I could change something, I'd be able to grow a decent beard. As you're growing a good beard, it looks good and it looks masculine. It looks very like dominant sort of thing. But I can't grow that, and I'm something envious of people who can grow beards.
Jordan, it's fascinating you've just brought that up because we are about to slide in. So you've just segued for me straight into men's grooming. Not many people admit to that, do they? Not many people are like, oh, I've got a routine, or I do this, or I do that. And I love the way you just did it. I have a routine, by the way. I mean, God, I put on. So I go in the shower, bit of face cleanser, then I put on some moisturiser, and then some oils, and then some SPF as well. I've only just started doing it. I'd love to say I've been doing it for longer, but I haven't. My girlfriend introduced me to it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's normally the way, isn't it? And since then, honestly, I've never gone back. Boys, I've never gone back. You feel so great afterwards. You're like this, why have I been doing this forever? And I just think, is there something stopping men from being open about the fact that, you know, we also want to look our nicest too? Matt's sitting there going, I don't use moisturiser, so I wouldn't know how to tell.
No, I do a little bit. Like I said, for me, it's more like it's more of a personal thing. Actually, doing it regularly. Like I might do it once or twice. Yeah, basically remember it. Or like having the time. Like, you know, you've got a kid and you try and have a quick shower in the morning, or you get up and you got to get to work or whatever. It's like having the memory to like.
Got to choose between the beard and the moisturiser, and you're like, I've only got time for one.
Exactly, that's it. So it's one of those for me. Like I probably peak and trough with it. Like I've got stuff at home that I could use more. Mrs. probably wishes I did, but it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I appreciate people that do it because they do look better for it. I think like so, you know, the lads that do it, they come in. You can tell the lads that are well groomed. I think at rugby again, like we finished training, like you wouldn't see any lads in there going like you're doing in the shower by the sounds of it. You know, that full routine. I've never ever seen anyone do that.
Yeah, but I don't know if anyone's bringing their routine to the shower. If I'm going and staying somewhere, I'm not bringing up. Right, I'm going to bring my essential oils.
Exactly.
It's only at home. I wish there was an easier way of doing it. To be fair, but like I feel like there is a thing where it's like I'm not embarrassed to say that I do all those things, and I hope that there aren't guys out there who do get embarrassed by those things, because at the end of the day, you want to look nice, you want to feel nice, and this actually leads me onto my next point, which is looking after yourself. Because for me, when I come out, even if I have done a little bit of a facial routine, I come out of that shower, I feel good, I feel like I look nice, and I'm like, actually, I look at least a week younger, and I'm like, this is great. And, you know, I go to the gym, believe it or not, and I'm not like you boys, but like I go to the gym, I'm in not bad shape myself, like I can get around. And we were talking about this, Matt, I do ice baths. I love ice baths. That's more for my mental health than anything else, as is the gym. And I wanted to ask you guys, like, you know, you're athletes, but also as just humans, what do you do to keep yourself fit, but also mentally healthy?
I think you touched on it there with ice baths. Like we, during pre-season when it's really, really hot, we do have ice baths to use as and when we need after training. And I think personally it's great. It's a great recovery, and it makes me feel so fresh getting out, and then days to come I feel so much better. I think another one on the side of that, going the opposite spectrum, saunas.
For me, a routine is so important to our mental well-being. I need to know like what I'm doing from that time to that time to that time to that time, because as my day goes on, if I'm sort of like all over the place, like in terms of schedule and stuff, it makes my mind go a bit fried. Is that just me? Do you feel a little
No,
bit like that? Do you
no,
do you not run a routine?
We can relate with that in rugby. Our whole lives is based around schedules, turning up, being at this meeting at this time, and you're in this room at this time, and you eat at this time, and you're on the pitch at this time. So our whole life revolves around schedule, and routine outside of work or outside of rugby is heavily important. Again, like having family or having routines with your kids, like Matt mentioned earlier about. Once he gets home, he's got a routine with his son Albie about he makes him dinner, his quality time. So and take the routine on the sense of what we're talking about now, sort of like the grooming side of it again. Routine is like a massive part of humans, and it's the way we've always sort of been. I think like go back to cavemen, they used to do the same thing. They probably get up at a similar time when the sun comes up. They go and hunt. They make a fire. They cook. It's just the way we are natural, the way we're naturally made.
Matt, well, we just touched on gym there, mate. I mean, obviously you guys gym for a living. Does it help the mental health? Or do you feel like that's now a job? Because I go to the gym and I'm like, oh, I feel great. But, is that just like another day for you guys, or does it help?
Honestly speaking, from my side of things, I see that as my job. Like I think the older I've got, because I've done so much of it now, like it can become a chore a little bit for me. However, what I would say is I massively value like exercise, like fitness, and maybe something different, like week off. I've got a few bits at home I can do, and like I was on what other bikes are available.
Oh, what bikes?
Yeah. So I was on that, and like for me, like it's just a different challenge or something different that I wouldn't normally do inside the rope. So for me, like if I can't get a hit in of some sort of fitness or activity, whether
do you feel sluggish?
Yeah, I feel sluggish. I feel like a bit guilty a little bit, where it's like, I've wasted the day. There's no worse feeling than that, So for me, that's a massive physical activity and getting out, doing something, walk the dog, a bit of running, fitness, whatever. It makes me feel better.
Not the watt bike though, boys. That
is grim. I do. Yeah, it is a bit grim.
Oh, the watt bike's the absolute pits. And what do you do, mate, to make yourself mentally feel good? If is it a run? Is it an ice bath? You like an ice bath?
Yeah, like those sort of things. Like trying to recover, like away from the club is important. Like it's obviously rugby, like we say, can be quite intense. So trying to almost like deload the mind a little bit, like take away a lot of thinking. So I think routine is key, because for me what routine does is like takes a lot of thinking out of it.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly true.
You become like you obviously creating a routine. It means you almost become like automatic at things. You don't have to think too much. So and that routine can be anything from, like you say, your routine in the shower, or like my routine, which is get up, drive to the club, do my training, go home, always pick up my son up on the way back. Spend some time with him, do the bedtime and stuff, and it's like a comforting thing.
Well, this is probably where we're going to naturally finish the episode, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Does anyone game?
I used to game when I was younger. I used to game a lot. Again, similar thing. I'd just get home from school and I'd literally lock myself in the bedroom. Mum would shout for dinner. I'd be like, I'll be down in a couple of hours. Like, I finish
hours, love that.
It's
gonna be cold, but I don't care.
Once I'm locked in, I'm locked in. But like I say, I've kind of I've grown up a little bit now.
I haven't.
I'm not saying anything, but like I've got rid of the PlayStations and got rid of all that sort of stuff, and now like I've got my own little things now. So again, like going to the gym, and I've just beginning to start doing ice baths, and I think it's that.
Do you meditate?
I've not done any meditation. I know people who have. I've spoken to people who have as well, and I think what's really important, again, whether it's gaming or it's whatever, just go and try anything that can maybe allow you to have that release away from reality. And it's that time again, if it's time like for myself, the time at the gym, I spend myself in the gym or in the sauna, that's just my time. It's see how far I can push myself mentally and see where I can get to. And I think it makes you strong again, whether it's gaming or it's walking the dog, whatever it may be. Go and just try and find something. I think that it's really important for anyone to do this. So just go and find something that allows you to completely shut off from the world and just have that me time, and just allow you to go and think about these things. And then maybe never know, you might find someone who also relates. Again, especially in gaming, you find someone, you meet a friend online, or you have a friend who shares the same thing. Like people who can lock in together, and that's the time you might be gaming together, and you just, it's late night FIFA match, and all of a sudden like, mate, how's your day been? And also
that's so true, man. Lads, that has been, I keep saying this every episode, one of my favourite chats. We've literally gone from hair loss to how you look after yourself, to fitness, to ice baths, to saunas, to gaming, to meditation for a little bit. This has been so encompassing. I reckon people watching this hopefully will learn a lot and also really enjoyed it. So boys, thank you so much for the entire series, not just for this episode. I really appreciate it. You've literally taken a day away from your club to be talking to me. It's really, really kind. I've never been in such a cool environment ever. I don't think I'm ever going to be invited back, to be honest, so I'm going to remember the smell. But thank you so much, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Brother, thank you so much, mate. Thank you so much, mate. That has been The Locker Room. Now remember, addressing these issues is an ongoing journey, and the more we talk about it, the more positive change that we can make. If you've been affected with any of these topics, or you feel like you need support, please do visit your GP or visit the Boots Men's Health Hub.